Hey, thanks for watching. Today we're going to be talking about this new Predator 350 solar generator power station, however you want to refer to it. I figured we'd start this video off by looking at the box. We'll start with the back. We'll come back to this. Yep, sure enough, look at that. Look at that. Doesn't that just make you want to buy it? Doesn't that just make you want to look at that? That guy is having so much fun in the outdoors. And we're back to this site. We'll talk about the specs here very, very quickly. AC charging cable, car charging cable, and solar charging cable. 5 ways to charge. So 2 hours via AC and USB-C charging at the same time. 3 hours from solar, 3.5 from USB-C, 4 hours from AC, and 5 hours from car. Let's open it up. Open the box. We have our AC cable. We have our solar cable with the Anderson plug. And we have our car charging cable with the Anderson plug. Oh, that's tight. Harbor Freight should be proud. The way. And there is said power station and the manual. So it says here, fully charged before use or voids warranty. I don't want to void my warranty. I am not avoiding of a warranty kind of guy. So let's charge this thing. And AC plug is in the back here, next to our solar input. Into a wall outlet. And we are at 42%, charging at 78 watts. 2 hours and 23 minutes to fully charge. So we will come back in 2 hours and 23 minutes. It's only been a minute. It's still at 2 hours and 22 minutes, but I wanted to see if the dual USB and AC charging were a thing. So right here I have this power brick that I use for business. It does have a 100 watt output. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to try it out. We're going to stick it onto a charger. And I have a fairly thick USB-C cable that I use for charging. And it is a 100 watt cable. Sorry, I don't know where my camera is. And let's just see what it does. It lit up. Now it's going to 116, 124. Oh, that's really cranking up there. It's almost an extra 100 watts compared to what it was before. And it lowered our charge time down to 1 hour and 4 minutes. So I'll see you guys in 1 hour and 4 minutes. I just wanted to show this real quick. So right now we have 173, 4-ish watts input. And if you look, the two logos for the AC and the USB-C are both lit, indicating that's what's charging it. Kind of an indicator of what that looks like. It's been a couple minutes and now the fan icon is kicked on. And we're gonna see if we can pick up the sound. It's not very loud at all, but it does have a sound. All right, so now the power station is completely charged. I've removed the USB brick and charging cable, and right now I just left it on the AC cable that's plugged into the wall. I wanted to do a few quick tests, check what the outputs look like, see what kind of voltages we get, and kind of go from there doing a load test. First thing I want to do is check voltage on the AC outlet. So we'll turn that on and we will unplug the one in the back. So we've lost input voltage. No more backup. I have this meter set to AC. Sorry, I gotta kind of rig it this way so I can see what I'm doing here. And I can get a good contact in there. Looks like 122, 121. Weird dip. Could be this meter. This is not a quality meter. So 122 volts. Let's check it with this. 120.8. Sounds about right. So this is our oscilloscope with nothing plugged in. I've rigged up this rather sketchy cord. This is what a pure AC out of the wall looks like. So you can see that good wave, but that's what it looks like coming out of the wall. Nice perfect wave. Let's see what it looks like coming out of the power station. And that is a very clean wave. Actual usable voltage is about 120, 121. All right, so in this video, we're going to test the USB and 12 volt DC outputs. The way we're going to do that is this is going to test our 12 volt and our USB A. This is going to be my test for the power delivery. I cannot get this thing to work with power delivery for some reason. I just can't get it to turn on. I think the devices have to handshake, so I can't get it to work. But this is plugged into a laptop that needs charging. So let's start with USB first. Here, we'll turn on our USB port, plug in our USB port, and we will give it a load. And my goal is it says it can do up to 12 watts. Let's get this up to 12. Right now it's a 6, 8, 9, and we'll do a fine trim. 11, 12 watts. So that's 4.6 volts. And let's see, 2.48 amps. Let's crank it up. Let's see if we can get it to overload. 13, 14, 15 watts, 16, 17, overload. All right, we got it up to 17 watts before it decided to go overload. So that's pretty good. I will give that. I will give Harbor Freight credit where credit is due. So let's check our power delivery port. This is not going to be an amazing test, but it's what I got. All right, we're at 19.94 volts, 20 volts, 1 amp. So yeah, this is doing power delivery. I can't verify it's going to do 100 watts, but right now it's at 20 volts and 1.42 amps, 1.5 amp, depending on what my laptop is doing. So it does produce power delivery, and it does charge from it like it stated it did. So that's really good. Right now it's outputting, 28, 30, 35, 28 watts according to its display. That's about accurate with what the volts and amps here are doing. So I'll give it a pass because 12 volt DC, and let's test that load. So we'll turn on our DC load, plug this guy in. All right. Well, there we go. Guess we're already rocking and rolling because I left it going. So it says it's rated at 12 volts at 10 amps, so that's 120 watts. So right now it's outputting 32 watts. Let's crank it up to, let's get to 100 and trim it. So that's 103 watts according to that. We're at 12 volts. The voltage has been dropping. 12.1, 12.0. We're at 7.9 amps of current. We're definitely going to try to crank that up to 10 amps. So let's get that up to 10. There's 8.84, 11.9 volts. So it's not a regulated output, is kind of what I wanted to test. Not that it necessarily matters, but it's good to know. All right, so that's 9.63 amps, 9.95 amps, and we'll just trim pot it up. All right, so that's 10 amps, and that is 11.7 volts. And it says it's outputting 129 watts. Excuse me. I mean, with my math, 11.7 volts at 10 amps, that's 117 watts. But let's crank it up and see what it does. Let's see if we can get it to 11. 10.5. 10.6. 10.7. 10.9. 11 amps, 11.1 amps. And I don't know why the display turned off. It must just have a timeout. It does. So we are at 11.5, 11.6 volts at 11.1 amps. So it hasn't overloaded yet. That's 142 watts according to this. This thing is getting a little warm. Let's crank it up a little bit more. We'll see if we can get up to 11.5. Oh, fans are kicking on. Fan just turned on. Fan's running. That's 11.5 amps at 11.5 volts. There you go. 146 watt output it says. That is over its rated output. So bravo to Predator. Good job on that. All right, let's do a load test on our 110. Let's turn on our AC inverter and let's see what that looks like. So what we will do is we will plug this guy in here. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see the display of the unit because I'm using this, but I really want to know the watts. So I have one of these My Heat heaters. Let's see, it is rated to 200 watts. I think it draws more than that. As a matter of fact, I know it draws more than that. But we'll plug this guy in. Give it the old college try. 201, 204. And I'm looking around here just to see what the display says. Right now it says 220, 222, 223, 224. So it's a few watts different. So it seems to be running this 200 watt load. This is getting hot. I mean, as hot as a space heater this big is going to get. Let's try a larger space heater, which is good. This one says 400 watts at 25 degrees Celsius or 450 watts at 0 degrees Celsius. Well, this ought to be a good test to see if it overloads this thing. So let's plug her in. And looks like it was already on. See that? Oh, overloaded. Overloaded. So let's kill that. Let's see. And overload. So this thing says 700 starting watts. Let's try it again. Okay. It gets up to about 650, 670, and then it overloads. So obviously that starting 700 watts is only for a brief moment. I'm sure it says in the manual what that moment is. What I'm going to attempt to do is warm this thing up first so that it's already kind of hot, just to give this a fighting chance. Seems to be running that just fine now that we got it warmed up a little. This is its typical operating wattage. It says it's rated at 350 running watts. We're right about 350 right now. So I'd like to kind of let that soak for a bit and see what it does. But overall, I mean, what's the verdict? The verdict is that the USB port's actually I mean, these went up. These are rated at 12 watts. We got them up to about 16 before they popped the overload. The USB-C power delivery port took a charge like it says it's going to, increase the charge or decrease the charge time with the AC. It also did output a power delivery voltage, so that's always good. The DC output, I mean, we were 11.6 amps at 11.6 volts. So we were, you know, this is definitely over the 12 volt 10 amp rating that this is rated for. I mean, now we're at over 350 watts. It's still running. It's not causing a lot of issues. This might actually get up to that 400 watt threshold that this heater is rated for. Overall, I think this is a great power bank for the bang for the buck. I mean, it's 254.4 watt hours, I believe, and it costs $199 before any taxes and shipping. I don't factor that into any of my pricing, so you're looking at about 76 cents a watt hour. That's not stellar pricing, especially with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and other deals from other manufacturers. But for something that you could take with a receipt back to Harbor Freight if it decides to crap out, this thing seems very solid. I look forward to plugging in a solar panel to it, seeing what solar charging looks like, and going from there. Unfortunately, where I live, it's cold, it's dark, and it's foggy for the next few days. So I can't really test this right away, but I appreciate you tuning in.